There's women in your workplace that are your manager, that earn more than you, that live in a better house than you, who are younger than you. That's never happened before, guys. As much as guys will say, I don't want to improve in order to attract women, what have they done? Why would I have to, be on their level in order to attract them? I don't have to impress her. Agreed. But at the end of the day, guys, life is better when you're getting all the girls. For the first time ever in history, a lot of men are becoming beta males second to women. So they're beta males below the women. They're kind of beta females in male format. Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how women only date up or on their level. And this is going to present an equality issue. So you guys have heard me talk about the Darwinian male before, where the barrier to entry or the kind of baseline level is being moved up. So back in the day, if a guy drove a car in the 1920s, he was king. Now it's expected. In Arnold Schwarzenegger's times, if a guy had muscles, he was king. Now it's expected to be in shape. Do you even lift, bro? That whole culture. These things are expected. And times have changed too. So, in the concept of women only date on their level or above, there was a time when every man was pretty much above every woman, and she was lucky to have a man in general. Women couldn't work, women couldn't vote, women couldn't do all sorts of things, women couldn't drive, right? So having a man was like, your life just improves naturally by just having a man in your life. Like any man, it didn't matter. He was going to bring money, food, children, marriage. You could suddenly be accepted and make a respectable woman out of me. That whole concept that was out there for a while. That's because women couldn't do a lot of shit. And once she was married, she was respectable. She was wanted by someone. And now she, like a married woman, was valued so much higher than a single woman in society. Now, some of these girls, guys, are on OnlyFans making $90,000 per month. This is changing the fucking game. Some of these girls are going to the gym, and they're just as big and strong as some of these guys. They're squatting, like I saw a girl before squatting 100 kg, and she was like half my size. And it's like, Jesus Christ, these girls are evolving. They're upgrading, man. They're now in the workplace earning, like your boss might be a woman. So the problem of women only date up or on their level, if your boss is a woman, how the fuck are you going to get her? And how many other women out there are earning more than you or earning the same money as you? How many women out there also have their own businesses? How many women out there also drive? How many women out there already renting their own place or have a great life without you, or are going to the gym and are, super fit and super strong and don't really need you to open a jam jar anymore? Like, how many women are out there with their own mortgage already, or who maybe they don't want kids? A lot of women do, but maybe they don't want kids for like another 3 to 5 years because they believe that female independence is empowering. This whole culture is changing, and it's creating a giant equality issue for men, where if women only date on that level or above, we're going to have to improve and fucking fast, because we cannot get away with anymore being like, hey, you want to get married, you want to have kids, you got to come see me. Because there's millions of options for these women now. Like, they have more options than we've ever seen. They can go around the world and go and date a guy from the Middle East who's a multi-millionaire with a six-pack, and she's not even going to worry about you. And that's what I say. That's what I'm saying. Like, women only date on their level or above or up. And this has consistently been a good thing for male society, because I believe human society, human evolution is only where it is today. Although women have contributed, I feel like 99% of it has been male inventors. Maybe that's because we've kept women down. Who knows? That's up for another debate. But it would be impossible to say most of the accomplishments haven't been achieved by men, or most of the money. Yeah, we've had wars and stuff like that as well, but they've actually evolved technology and made things happen faster. So, who knows? It might be an Amazonian society where women have done great, but men historically have been the reason for like industrial revolution, these things driving forward, right? Whether it's been right or wrong, we've pushed life forward. We've done that usually due to the pursuit of women. We've wanted to impress women. There's multiple stories of Vikings that have invaded 20 different countries in order to have that woman as their queen, or Helen of Troy, that whole story. The way they wanted to invade Troy and take that over so that they could, he could have Helen. And men have always been motivated by that pursuit of women. Well, that barrier has gone up so high, I think a lot of guys are looking at it, and that's why we're getting things like incels, because so many guys are looking and thinking that might be unreachable. Whereas before it was like maybe a woman had 4 or 5 options and she was lucky to have any of you, and all you had to do was not the bare minimum, but you just had to kick on a little bit in life. You just had to get your own car and a house, and it was like, bang, you're in the door. Whereas now it's like, if a girl's making 90 grand a month on OnlyFans, what the fuck are you supposed to do? You know, that might take you 15 years to build a business that starts making that much money. Like, the game has changed significantly, and it's going to create a giant equality issue where maybe 5 to 1% of the men actually get all of the women, or have that option to sleep with the women. And, you know, the rest of the guys are just kind of getting what they're given at the bottom of the rung, which isn't going to be a nice scenario. And this is very similar, like I said, to the Darwinian male concept that I did promote a few months ago. But it says it in a different sense. Like, there's women in your workplace that are your manager, that earn more than you, that live in a better house than you, who are younger than you. That's never happened before, guys. And I think it is contributing to male depression, and it is contributing to a lot of, you know, pressures on men, where men are thinking, I'm not good enough. Why can I not get women? Like, a lot of the beta male, alpha male culture, I don't really like it anymore. I think is in date, out of date. You know, it's seen its best days, but it definitely exists in multiple senses. But for the first time ever in history, a lot of men are becoming beta males second to women. So they're beta males below the women. They're kind of beta females in male format, because of the nature of equality and how women are rising up. And there's nothing wrong with this. Like, I'm not blaming women here. I'm not saying, okay, the solution is women, you get back down there. Like, the solution is we're going to have to improve 10 times more than we were before, and we're going to have to really dedicate more of our time and effort to get there. Otherwise, we're really going to fall behind, guys. And this is more of a warning than anything else. I'm not trying to teach you anything. It's more of a warning just to buck your ideas up, because as much as guys will say, I don't want to improve in order to attract women, what have they done? Why would I have to, you know, be on their level in order to attract them? I don't have to impress her. Agreed. But at the end of the day, guys, life is better when you're getting all the girls. When you're the man, when you have the nice house, the nice car, the girls want you. Every guy knows what that feeling feels like. If you look good one night and girls want you, you're like, oh, great night last night. You know, if you get rejected 6 or 7 times, you're like, well, I don't really like that club. You know, you get a bad impression of those things, right? It's easier to be, let's say, in shape. It's easier to go out there in the world and make money. It's easier to have a better life as a man, and then have, you know, people gravitate towards you. Women want you to have the best assets, etc. It just makes life simpler. And I'm just putting this out as a warning shot. Whatever you do with it, you do with it. But we're about to have a serious pandemic of our own in the male race, or the male gender, should I say, where women are going to be alphas, and not just alpha women. It's going to be alpha male situation as a woman. And we're going to have, and we're already seeing this. We're seeing a lot of this. There's beta males who are basically beta females. Like, they've dropped down so low that they have fallen. A woman in the past, put it this way, a woman who isn't attractive would have jumped at the chance to be with a guy who wasn't really that successful, but he was a man. You know, she could get married, she could have some worth, they could live in the slums, but she had some worth. Now you're getting a woman who's like a 2 out of 10, but she has like a £60,000 a year job. You know, she's been allowed to work, so she's like, fuck it. If I haven't got looks, I'm going to build myself up in another manner. I'm going to have a nice house. Like, and she's looking at you going, no, not really interested. Like, she'll just pick the alpha male of the nerds. You know, I don't think that's a real thing, but, you know what I mean? From school, that's one way to think about it. Like, the IT technician who hits the gym twice a week and looks okay, like moderately okay. She can pick him. Like, things are getting scary, guys. I honestly think anybody who doesn't get on this train and looks at it, and like any man right now who isn't seeing women as competition is in danger of falling behind forever. Like, men were always competition, like other men. Like, as much as people say, oh, I don't compete with anybody, you have to, right? If another guy's in better shape than you, if he's got more money than you, if he's funnier than you, more confident than you, you're in trouble, right? We all know this. Like, let's not beat around the bush. we're now facing competition from other women. Like, your success in your business could be because a woman's beaten you to it and she's done the same idea and she's done it better, and now you can't attract her and you can't attract other girls that are on that level. You're in trouble. Whereas before, wide open plane, you just had to beat that guy and you're in. Now it's like 700 people are competing for the same job and 350 of them are women. So like, competition has doubled. We're now competing with women for the same things in order to then attract them again. Like, that's a dangerous scenario. You're competing with women that you want to sleep with for the same job to get the same money to then buy similar shit and then ask her if she wants to be with you. And maybe you're on a level, but you're not above. That's tough, guys. Like, this is going to be a serious danger zone for men in the next 15, 20 years because it's never happened before. It was like unemployed woman, guy with minimum wage. She's interested. How else is she going to eat, right? How else is she going to have kids? They don't need us anymore. Like, women really don't need us anymore. And that's made a very dangerous scenario. Women need Anthony Joshua. Women need Drake, these sort of guys that can give them a life that they cannot achieve on their own. And I'm not saying you need to get to that level, but in order to give women a life that they cannot get on their own anymore, well, you're basically saying the same question of, it's the same scenario as men. Like, you're giving women a life that they cannot achieve, that also most men cannot achieve. Do you see what I mean? Like, that level's not so low anymore where any guy can be like, I like her, I'm going to take her. It's like, most guys cannot break up into that level, and most women can't break up into that level. And it's not because they're women. It's just because normal people cannot break into that upper level, which is the outlier male, or the outlier lifestyle, or the outlier female, or, the superstar, the celebrity, the sports athlete, the rich person, the millionaire, the billionaire. There's this upper bracket now, which most people, regardless of how society goes, will never break into, because it takes a certain level of effort, commitment, drive, passion, whatever it might be, intelligence, whatnot. If you break into that level, it changes the game. Your whole life changes. But we've got this like giant sack at the bottom now of like 60, 70% of people, and we're all competing with each other. It's not men, women underneath. Women and men are together now. And it's creating an absolute shit show where I truly believe we're going to have like a 20, 25%, 30% incel population in the next 20 to 25 years. And any guys listening to this, please understand what I said. If you have to watch it again, please do. Ask me questions in the comments, because I would love to discuss this further, because I think this is a massive pandemic that's coming. But any guy who is listening to this, turn off the TV, put down your Xbox controller, go and lift some weights, go and start a business, go and do something, because there's going to be those tail enders. We're going to have like this 30%, 40% bracket of tail enders of guys who are just going to get knocked out of the ballpark. It's going to be rough. And there's not even those kind of, as guys always say, those banker chicks. Or what I mean by banker chicks is the girl that's always there. She's in the bank. You can make a deposit whenever you want. There's not even going to be that, I'll go and sleep with an ugly girl because she'll always want me. Like, that scenario is gone. Like, that should never have been a thing, but that scenario is gone. Like, even the 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s, they're going to rise up to a point where they're like, I don't need you. Like, like I said at the start, guys, girls only date on their level or above. Now, because women aren't just valued on looks anymore, they're culminating other factors into their life. They can get in the gym and build up a decent body. We're now competing with them too. It's time to hustle, guys. It's time to hustle. Like, you're not just competing with other men for these women anymore, or for a better life or whatever, like that big house. There's girls now trying to take that house off you too. And they're the same girls you're trying to sleep with. So you just don't have to be on their level. You have to be even better than them, as well as beating all the guys off. Like, it's never been more competitive in that sense. Like, don't get me wrong, we're moving into a generation, like I said before, where people are valuing themselves on looks more than anything. They're not building real businesses, etc. But what I'm saying is, the 9-to-5 grind is easy to do. A woman earning 30, 40,000 a year is easy to do. Women have never been able to do this before. Getting a car, it's easy to do. It's a 9-to-5 job. Like, this shit is easy. So anybody who excels and gets into that upper bracket, I truly still believe, like I said in the other video before, this generation of men can take over for decades, because the next generation are weak in that sense. But opportunities have never been as easy. So like if you want to just mull around in that bottom bracket and you're like, I don't want to improve, fuck women, I shouldn't have to improve because of them, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in serious trouble. Because in previous generations that worked. You could just be the cool guy just sitting around like, yeah, I do what I want. I sell a little bit of weed on the side. I still get sex. It's not going to be that easy anymore. It's going to change because that whole bracket, that average middle bracket is being packed out more than ever. Women have been included into that now, and average is just swollen. And that is why we're celebrating somebody who's a little bit hotter than normal. We're celebrating people who are a little bit richer than normal. He earns $250,000 a year. He's super hot, he's super valuable. His social value's through the roof because that middle bracket is everyone now. Women, men, etc. It's not celebrated to just be like, I've got a car. Oh, wow, he drives, he's amazing. Now everybody's looking for that next thing, that next level up. And if you don't realize this now, you're going to be maybe mid-30s, mid-40s, and you're going to have trouble. You're going to have serious problems on your hands. And don't say I didn't warn you because I want the best for you.